Hi folks, this is Jason. You can get me on my website, jasonburnspreacher.com. Just a quick video. You see a Muslim apologist going up to a guy who is a Mr. Chowdhury supporter, and the Muslim apologists are like saying, look, you're kind of like into ISIS and we rebuke you, we disagree with you. And I just want to say that that's all a charade, that's all taqiyya. Muslims are allowed to lie in time of war, and this is just lying to the British public. At the end of the day, if you read your Quran, I did a scholarly resume of the Quran. If you look at Ali Dawah, if you look at my 5 videos on Ali Dawah, I do a scholarly resume of the Quran and what it teaches about war. And I go into the historical detail, I get the text in the context and everything. And the Quran teaches war when you get it in its context. So what the Muslim apologists are doing is they're pretending that the Quran is a peaceful book. And by doing what they're doing is that by going to this Chowdhury supporter and rebuking him, it's like they're saying to the British public, we're against war, we are peace-loving people, the Quran is peace-loving, we don't agree with war, this guy is just really bad. But it's all an act, it's all a charade. The fact of the matter is, you have apostasy law in Islam, where you can lose your life if you leave Islam, and if there are countries that can't fully implement the apostasy law, they will put in blasphemy law where you can lose your life or go to prison. So you have the apostasy law, you have the blasphemy law, and then you have texts that when they're in the context, you've got to get them in the context. The Quran has a lot of verses on war, and I've done a scholarly resume of this. So this is not just some Islamophobe guy. I'm talking to you from a scholarly perspective. You go to my video, 5 videos on Ali Dawah, and you'll see my 5 videos, and it's a very scholarly, absolute scholarly resume of the Quran. So all this acting by the Muslim apologists, they're just trying to win the British people over to make Islam feel that, to make people think that Islam is peaceful. But the Quran is, whether you like it or not, it is a pamphlet for war. It's just littered with text that advocate war. Like I said, you've got to get all these verses in context, so you mustn't take my word for it. I would encourage you to go and read the Quran yourself. But I would also encourage you to go and look at my 5 videos. It's a very, like I said, it's very scholarly resume of the Quran and what it teaches. And I talk about Ali Dawah and these and go right through the Quran and talking about his ideas, Ali Dawah's ideas, and how he's hiding from what the actual Quran is teaching. So I hope that's a help to you. So when you see the Muslims apologies, go to this Chowdhury supporter and rebuke him. It's all an act. It's all taqiyya. Alright? Read the Quran yourself. Look at the Quran, and it has a doctrine of war. Look at the life of Jesus. There is no doctrine of war. He doesn't teach a doctrine of war. Jesus was a completely different kettle of fish. But the Quran is a pamphlet for war. When you look at it, it really is. It's not to say Muslims are warmongers. No, most Muslims I meet are lovely people. I love Muslims. Muslims are great people. The vast majority of Muslim people are wonderful. But you can't get away from the theological implications of the Quran. And I'd ask Muslims to go and study the Quran. Look at the Quran and see what it teaches about war, and you'll be surprised. It has a whole raft of things about war. And now, I've heard Paul Williams say, well, you know, it's manly to be able to stick up and defend and fight. Well, I wouldn't disagree with that. But the problem with Islam and the Quran in particular is that with the spread of Islam is the option of war within the Quran. That's the problem. So the Quran can advance by war, and that's what you see in the early life of Muhammad. His fighting was part of his evangelism to spread the Quran, to spread Islam. I know these are things are very controversial. I'm willing to debate any imam. I'm willing to debate any Muslim apologist from an academic level. I don't take these things lightly. I believe in scholarship. I don't believe in hate mongering. I don't believe in Islamophobia. I'm willing to defend my position from a scholarly point of view. So if anybody, any academic, anybody wants to give me the opportunity for an academic discussion on the topic, I'm happy to do that. But the British people need to be aware that you're being blinded at Hyde Park when the Muslim apologists are challenging a Chowdhury guy as if the Quran's peace-loving. It's a charade. What you're seeing is taqiyya. They're allowed to lie until they take over that country. That's what I think anyway. God bless you.